Hello, everybody. Holly Tack here. God, it always starts before I realize it. So, I'm going to talk about a little bit something different before I get into the topic at hand. But in case you don't know who I am Holly Tack, and I like to call it a get it done coach. And I produce this TV show, Unicorn TV, 2 times a week now it's at 5 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm on episode 21. That's what you're on right now. That's what you're watching. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about the first step towards quitting corporate, or if that doesn't resonate with you, really the first step to making any kind of change in your life that you want to make, whether it be career change of some sort, some change in your business, finding a relationship, any big goal that somebody might have, like changing your health around. This is really the first step for all of that, but I know that a lot of people in my community are really interested to quit corporate. So that's why I called it that. And if you don't know about my story, I actually was in corporate for almost 7 years, and I finally was able to leave at the beginning of April after it was like 6 years, 9 months or something. So I am practicing what I preach, and this step is from my own experience with that goal and with any other goal that I've had. And yeah, I'm feeling like a little bit out of sort. I had an interesting experience I feel like sharing before I get into that topic I just talked about. So today my internet got turned off. I called them like weeks ago to tell them I'm leaving at the end of the month, right? On other broadcasts, I mentioned that I'm moving. So I told them I was going to, end my service at the end of the month. And they ended it today. And I was on the phone for 2 hours to fix the internet. And it just got fixed about 30 minutes before this broadcast. So if you're on live, send me some hearts or something. Or if you're watching the broadcast, comment if you've ever had this happen to you before. But it's just I had literally one of the most packed days that I've had in weeks. And I basically had to miss, or I feel like I blew off 3 calls because of this issue. Because once you're on your phone, I have no internet, so I only have my phone service to connect to the internet, but I'm using it for a call, so I can't actually tell anybody what's going on, all this stuff, right? And I had my moments where I lost it a little bit and where I got angry, and, it just reminded me that it really is important how we manage our minds. And I did have a few moments where I thought, why is this happening to me? Why? I'm not going to get everything I wanted to get done today because of this. I had those moments. And, in reality, I think that I need to interpret it differently. And, I wish I wouldn't have lost my cool as much as I did at certain points. And also, I just have to realize that, I think it happened for a reason. And I feel like weird things happen like that when you need to notice something. And to me, what it shows me is I really need to not pack my days like I had. I never really have back to back to back to back, and I did today. And I know that doesn't work for me, and I did it anyway, and then this happened, and I missed a bunch of the calls. So it was maybe I shouldn't be doing that. And also on Tuesdays, I already have several coaching calls. So on Tuesdays, it would be better for me to have minimal client calls or whatever I'm doing. So but anyway, I just wanted to share that just because I wanted to show you that kind of crap happens to me. Even if it happens to you, it happens to me. And, it's all how we think about it. It's all how we think about it. And it's what did I do instead of acting like a victim, which I definitely did part of the time today, it was more about thinking about why did I attract this situation into my life? And the reason it felt even more painful in a way was because I had packed my schedule so crazy, I never do. And now after this experience, I'm thinking I should not do again. So anyway, that's all I want to share on that, but I hope that helped. It's really about mindset, and that's just like a simple example that anyone could encounter that shows how mindset impacts us. So, all right, now I'm going to cover the topic that I have today. This is going to be pretty short and sweet because it's just one step of the steps that I talk about with my clients. But it is all about what's the first step to quit corporate. And, or again, like I said, any other big change or goal that you have in your life. So that step is getting clear. It's clarity. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. It's getting clear on what you want. So, I'm just laughing because I'm getting a phone call and it's like, I have another friend wanting to call me. I get that phone call. I've had lots of calls. I had the 2-hour call with the cable company. It's like, today I'm like in high demand. But anyway, the first step is getting clear. And what I want you to think about, and I don't know, sometimes this can rub me the wrong way to think that I want something, like obviously I'm clear about it, but I've had to realize in my life that I wasn't always clear on that stuff that I wanted. And think about it like the most simple example that I like to use to describe this is about going to a destination that you've never been to before, and maybe you've never heard of it. Like for me, quitting corporate, that was like something I've seen, but it's like basically unheard of for me because I hadn't done it and I didn't, anyway. So you need to have a roadmap to get to a destination that you don't know where it is or how to do. And the only way you can get a roadmap is to know that destination and be clear on what that is. And when I say being clear on what it is, saying that you want to quit your job is a first step, but it's not clear enough for what's going to actually get you there. Okay? Because I spent, in my case, 4 years, I was there for about 7, and the whole time, really, I've had moments where I wanted to leave. I definitely did. Like, I was an auditor for the first couple years, going through busy seasons that were miserable. And, I've had my moments the whole journey that I wanted to leave. But I never stepped back to really think about where I was going to go. And so, of course, I never was able to leave any of those times that I had those feelings. And so I really started to think about the possibility of having a business about 3 years into that job. And that came about like 3 or 4 years in. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I started to think about maybe like having my own business is the alternative. And so that was getting more clear. And then slowly but surely, I would get little hints. Like I thought, oh, maybe, I've lost a lot of weight on my own and maybe I should be a health coach. And so I'd explore that. And I listened to a podcast and they mentioned a training that they took. And, I would just follow little breadcrumbs to try and figure out what it was. But for that whole period, I did some level of work to figure out what I wanted to do. And it took 3 or 4 years. And I was just like exposed to information. At the very least, I'd be listening to podcasts. At the high end, I ended up investing in a program. And so all that stuff was like a business coaching program. All that stuff was steps to get more clear on what I was trying to create in my life so that I could create a roadmap to get there. And so the thing that I would do differently, honestly, is get somebody's professional help to guide me through the process so that I could get clear on what I wanted more quickly by somebody who is, first of all, experienced in guiding people through things, knows what questions to ask, and knows how to get to the bottom of the information. I honestly, if I could do it over, I would have invested in something like that sooner because definitely would have helped. There's no reason. I think that there is time to make a big shift. Time is involved. Some people can handle the quit overnight and just hope for the best, but a lot of people can't. And I think if you need some time to quit or do whatever you're doing, that's fine. But I personally don't think for me that it needed to take 4 years like it did. it did not. And I know that if I could do it over again, I would have invested in somebody sooner to help me figure it out instead of doing it on my own. So that's my advice on that. I don't want to just leave you with that advice, though. I always like to give you actual things that you can tangibly do to figure out what you want. So in that case, I will share with you a couple of things that you can do. I'm a big fan of writing and journaling. So that's what most of my recommendations are usually around. But, in this case, if you want to speak it on a voice recorder or something like that instead, I think that would be fine too. But I would recommend for you to do this exercise if you want to start getting more clear. So think about that thing that you want to do. So let's just keep with the example that, you want to quit corporate or leave your job or, whatever that thing is, like, oh, I want to lose weight or something. Some kind of vague goal that you might have. And just get quiet for a minute. You can meditate. If you don't meditate, just take some deep breaths and just focus in on that goal, with some deep breaths for a minute or two. And then think about, what do you want your life to look like in that area of your life? So in the case of a career change, think about, okay, you want to change your job. Well, chances are you're going to still need a job, right? Of some sort, because most of us are not independently wealthy, or whatever. So if in the area of a career, if that's what you're seeking to change in, then, do that centering and then think about, what do I want my work to look like? And just write about that for as long as you can, like keep thinking. Every time you want to stop, just think, did I miss anything? Even if you already wrote it, write it again if it comes up again. But just think, like, what does your day look like? Do you work with people in person? Do you not? Is it virtual? Are you working from home? Are you working from other cities whenever you want? What are you actually doing day to day? Like, you hate your emails, so you're not doing that. But you love talking to people on the phone, so you are doing that. Just really an assessment of that and like what skills that you actually already have that you want to use more of, what things you don't want to do anymore, anything and everything you can think of. Like, how do you want your day to feel and look in your next career, your next job, your own business, if that's what you end up coming up with? And just go with that as long as you can. I recommend at least half an hour. And then after that, finish off the exercise by reading it back and using a highlighter or a marker or just a different colored pen to look for anything that really like pops out or anything that's repetitive. So if you say anything on repeat a lot, definitely notice that. Also, if you just read what you wrote and like one particular sentence or one particular idea really gets you excited, star it, whatever you want to do. There's no like code on how to analyze it, but definitely read it through, look for the things that show up a lot, like multiple times, and also the things that you feel a strong feeling, whether it's like a negative feeling, like, oh God, yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. Or like, yes, I really do want to do that. Like, note all of that somehow. Okay. And then just look through that again, those things that you marked, and decide, just see like, okay, what is this really indicating with me? And like, this is the piece where having a professional really helps, because they will help you go through this process and they will help you determine what you can take that information and do with it. But I'd never like to leave you hanging, so I wanted to give you the exercise anyway. So again, the exercise is to get centered and then to basically write for 30 minutes or more on how you want your day to look in your new job if you're trying to change your career. So I hope that helps. The first step to quitting corporate or navigating any kind of career change or any big life goal is to get clear on what you actually want. So the same thing, like losing weight, for example. Okay, well, you could do the same exercise. You need to, first of all, like think about how much weight you want to lose and like when you do the journaling, it could be all about how do you want to feel in your body every day, and like what kind of things do you want to be doing with your body? What kind of things do you want to be eating? That's how you shift the exercise for that. So that's how you'd shift the exercise for whatever goal you have. Getting very clear on that. Same thing, analyzing the results. So that's all I wanted to share today, and I hope it served you. And I want to invite you, this is my ask of you, if this piqued your interest at all, I'm actually doing a webinar where I'm sharing the 4 steps to do work you love. So like I said, this is the first step that I talked about today. And on that webinar, I'm going to cover the other 3 steps that help you get to any goal you want in your life, but, especially relevant for quitting corporate. This is what I learned through my own trial and error of, quitting corporate. And now I'm using it in other areas of my life that I'm in process with, like attracting a love partner and that sort of thing. So this webinar, that's what it's going to be about. It's going to be super awesome, and I want to invite you to attend. So if you want to attend, the link to do so is in the description of this video. So it's resources.hollytack.com/love-work-registration, or again, click the link in the description of the video. And that is all I have for you today. I appreciate you. I thank you for tuning in to this episode 21 of Unicorn TV, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'm actually going to the Hollywood Bowl, another part of my extremely packed day where I had calls all the way up to there. So I'm going to go to the Hollywood Bowl though, which was something I wanted to do before I left LA. So I've been before, but I wanted to go again. So I will be seeing you later, and thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Bye.